Welcome. So, just something from a parsha, something that I've read that stuck out to me. I'm going to try to share these more often. So, hopefully, ask me about them, have them come. So, the Alkut Me'am Loez brings up something in Vayechi, and really, this is really to address a question that I had on Matthew 27:52-53, which talks about the resurrection of those who have been unalived. And it's always sort of a weird passage, right? The Kedoshim, right? The great sages of Israel who were before him, before Yeshua, the prophets probably, and other things like that. They all rise up, they walk into the city. And is there anything in Judaism that sort of corresponds to something similar to that? So in the Alkut Me'am Loez in Vayechi, on Genesis 47:31 says this, which I find really interesting. And it says, according to another opinion, the archangel Gabriel will bring the bones of the dead to the land of Israel, and there they will be resurrected. Furthermore, people buried in the land of Israel will be resurrected before those buried elsewhere. So we see this resurrection in the land of Israel happens before other resurrections. Others will have to be brought to the Holy Land, and their resurrection will therefore be delayed. This is alluded to in a verse, your dead shall live, my corpses shall rise. Awake and sing, you who live in the dust. Your dead shall live refers to the dead buried in the Holy Land, while your corpses shall rise refers to those buried elsewhere. They will merely rise and have their bodies reconstructed. Then they will be brought to the Holy Land, where they will be given souls that will bring them back to life. There's a tradition that people buried in the land of Israel will be resurrected 40 years before those buried elsewhere, right? Now, so again, timelines sometimes are a little off. We have 12 years, we have 45 years, we have 6 months, all these kinds of things for the delay in the revealing, concealing, and re-revelation of Messiah from Rashi, from different sources, from the Chasam Sofer. They all have differing time periods. This is common. But this is 40 years. So what does 40 years mean here? We have to look into that. If a person buried outside the Holy Land has been concerned with and has supported to the best of his ability a relative, either male or female, who is buried in the Holy Land, that relative can see to it that he is resurrected at the same time as the dead in the Holy Land. All reward is measure for measure. This person supported his relative so that he could live in the Holy Land, which is considered the same as ransoming captives, as discussed in Lech Lecha. Such a person, therefore, has very great merit, and he will partake in the resurrection long before the other people buried outside the Holy Land. And so, there is this idea of two different resurrections separated by a decent amount of time. And now that amount of time, whether it be 40 years or whether it be more, it's been 2,000 years since Matthew 27:52-53. But this idea of the separation of the resurrection of those who have been unalived is in fact a Jewish concept found in Alkut Me'am Loez. You may say Alkut Me'am Loez was written way after Yeshua, but it is in fact a Jewish idea. They would not include it, Orthodox would not include it in their book if it was not something that was actually an idea found in Judaism. So the reason that people buried in the Holy Land are resurrected before those elsewhere is that they suffer very much during their lives. They undergo many bitter troubles, but steadfastly refuse to leave the land of Israel. So bitter are their lives that they are considered like dead because of the problems, suffering and difficult times that they have. Since they allow themselves to be as the dead during their lives, they are given an additional period of life before the resurrection. The reason that they undergo such suffering and do not leave is because living in the Holy Land is considered as great as all the other commandments combined. I hope to one day be able to live in the Holy Land, to be able to fulfill the commandments and the mitzvahs, and to be able to have that Mesiras Nefesh. Right now it's very difficult for me, so I'm very excited for that. Hopefully one day soon we'll be doing this from Eretz Israel. For those of my friends in Eretz Israel, keep on keeping the faith, working hard to keep Torah and mitzvahs, and those who follow Yeshua as the Messiah, thank you for keeping the mitzvah of not denigrating a sage of Israel and honoring him by keeping the Torah and the mitzvahs as our sages commanded us. With that, I'll sign off. happy or happy. Have a good day, and I wish you the best.